and welcome to the second part of the Backpage Pass season preview. I'm John O'Donnell and I'm joined by Mark Corcoran, and we're systematically going through the Premier League, deciding who we think will finish where.
When?
It'd probably be sometime in May, I would imagine. We're gonna keep cracking on, and now we're on to Manchester United, and they have a new manager, Mark. I don't know if you've heard this.
What?
This David Moyes guy.
Yeah, I've heard of him. All right. Yeah, it's been a strange summer for Man United fans because I never had another Man United manager in my lifetime, so it's been odd, but exciting in a way to see how it all turns out. There's a bit of skepticism so far in that he hasn't really delivered signings, and it's kind of been talking about he hasn't had enough time, despite the fact that new managers at Chelsea and City have brought in plenty of players in shorter time, and also some of the transfer targets he's gone for have been quite baffling. I thought when they started going for Fabregas, they were either incredibly stupid or incredibly smart, and it looks like they're the first one, which is unfortunate because it would have been a good addition to the squad, but there was no chance. Any United fan would have looked at it and said there was no chance of him joining the club. And that's not a slight on Manchester United, it's just players happy at Barcelona, that's his team, and also Arsenal as a first option. So it's been a disappointing summer from that point of view. Also, crucially, I think back to last season when everybody said that the reason United won the league ahead of City was because they bought Robin Van Persie. Manchester City didn't buy anybody. And now certainly the table has turned where City have bought all the attacking players and Man United haven't bought anybody. And then in fact the squad of players has been depleted, if anything. So from that point of view, it's not exactly positive, but there's no doubt that Moyes will get time. You'll get time to make mistakes. You'll get time to figure it all out, figure out how he wants to play. So far, that's been very 4-3-3. But time is the key word, and he'll certainly get lots of that.
There's no real signings so far besides Zaha, who they signed in January but has only arrived now. Is it a worry, the lack of signings? Are you thinking?
It's a major worry. It's from like fair enough, they lost Scholes last year, but also they could lose Rooney, and if they don't lose him, is he really going to be a player that wants to play? Valencia didn't have a great year last year. Young didn't have a great year last year. Nani didn't have a great year last year. Vidic and Ferdinand, they have another year on the clock. You hope that a new manager will revive these players, and I think you'll know that after about 10 games of the season how what the really the story is. But I think one or two big names coming in would have really uplifted the club, and I think they need to kind of alleviate any fears. They need to start getting back to winning ways as soon as possible. And I think I've said it before, but if I was David Moyes, I would try and do a Jose Mourinho. When he was first at Chelsea, he made a big priority of winning the League Cup, so that he was seemed to be winning from the very beginning. And if I was Moyes for this first year, I'd make the League Cup a big Priority. If you can win that, the players, it gives out a message to the players that everything is the same. Even though Ferguson has left, nothing has changed. The Man United will still win trophies, and I think if they can win the League Cup, it will certainly be I think it will be a big boost for Moyes, the club, and the fans.
Well, they picked up the Community Shield, which is a start, I suppose. But the two players they're currently most heavily linked with, I'd say, are Fellaini and Modric. If you could have your pick of one of them, who would it be?
It would be Modric. I just don't know if Fellaini is a Man United player. He's a very good footballer. First of all, I don't know where he'd fit into any formation, and secondly, I don't know if he's technically good enough on the floor to be a Man United player. Whereas I think Modric is quite a technically gifted player, and United fans will remember him from scoring the goal, the equalising goal in the Champions League game last year. A very good finish. So he would be a great addition to the squad. But I don't see any signings coming in really. I think Ozil should be another target of ours because I think he would be achievable. But I don't see any signings coming in really. I'm not sure if Moyes has figured out where he wants to strengthen, and I think he's gone for the wrong targets. Just back on the Community Shield, Moyes didn't even consider that his trophy because he didn't win the league to get into it or the cup to get into it. So I think he gave that one to Ferguson, and his slate starts now. If you know what I mean. But I think United fans are going to have to wait a while for the first signing because I think they haven't prioritised very well. From looking from the outside, they haven't prioritised the players that they want to get very well. Thiago was a big disappointment. It looked like we were going to get him, but of course his agent is Pep Guardiola's brother, and so that explains why he went from being nearly United to 100% Bayern. So that was an interesting transfer from the point of view that Bayern paid 22 million from a player whose release clause is 15, which you wonder about release clauses and how they work, and if they matter. I'm not sure if they do.
Is it a worry that Moyes said the Community Shield was Ferguson's? Do you think Ferguson still has an influence there?
No, he said it from the point of view of Ferguson won the league. The team wouldn't be in the Community Shield if it wasn't for Ferguson's work, so I don't want to take credit for winning this trophy when really it was Ferguson that got us here in the first place.
Is he going to say that if they win the Champions League?
No, because Ferguson didn't win it last year. I mean, it's time to start afresh now. I think he just wanted to pay credit to Ferguson because it's nice to be nice, that kind of way. I don't read too much into it, but I think Moyes' season definitely starts on Saturday, and his hunt for trophies starts then. I don't think he'll be paying too much attention to Community Shield.
Well, I reckon Everton always had a very good second half of the season, and United always have a very good second half of the season. I can see those two things going together. I can see them struggling initially. I know Moyes has been complaining about their opening fixtures. I have Manchester United finishing second. Where have you got them, Mark?
I have them third. It has to be a little bit more than finishing the season well, because when Mourinho won his first 2 league titles, Chelsea started very, very well and left United, could barely even see their dust. So there was no time to catch them up. So you've got to start well and keep going in this league. So he'll need time, and I think that's why they'll finish third.
And next team on the list is Newcastle United, who, we're talking transfers, they have spent zero monies, and the only major signing they've brought in is Loic Remy on loan, a player who turned us down on the grounds that he could get more money from QPR in January, and has since been accused of rape. So no improvement for Newcastle in that respect. But the best signing I think they've made is a conditioning coach who will prevent things like Ben Arfa ripping his hamstring to shreds and missing half the season as a result.
Yeah, Newcastle have been a bit of a circus over the summer. I don't understand why they brought in Joe Kinnear.
We're a bit of a circus every summer.
Joe Kinnear, I think, is probably it comes across as it's a boys' club in Newcastle. It's helping somebody out. Doesn't really have the credentials to have his job. I mean, Joe Kinnear is a football manager,
and a bad one at that.
And he's not a technical director. He's not an expert on transfers. He's not an expert on negotiations. I'm not saying he's a bad human being. I'm just saying it's a bad move for Newcastle to put him there. I think it undermines Pardew, and I think it'll undermine Newcastle's season. I mean, look at this. Graham Carr, who's brought in some tremendous signings throughout the last few years with Newcastle, he lines up a Dutch centre half who they've been following for months and months.
That was actually Lambas had put all the effort into that one.
Oh, okay. Well, at the same time, a lot of effort went into that for Kinnear to come in and go no, and just say no, and then the transfer falls through. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'd be very skeptical about that. I think Remy. I don't know why on earth they got him. If I was Newcastle, I would have steered clear, because his motivations are clear that it's money for him, and money is the only one. So, I'd be very fearful if I was a Newcastle fan.
So, where do you have Newcastle finishing?
I have Newcastle finishing 17th. I think they're going to struggle to stay up because of a number of reasons. I think Pardew will be sacked. I think Kinnear could easily become caretaker manager again. I think the French clique of players could be a disturbance in the dressing room. And I think they should underachieve really this season, Newcastle, from where the potential as a club is huge, but I think they can go into a spiral this year. I do think they'll stay up, but just about.
Well, I don't think the French clique will take very well to Joe Kinnear, but especially after Charles Insomnia's declaration that he wouldn't play for him back the last time Kinnear was in charge.
And kebabs.
I just look at that team and I think that first 11 is way too good to finish as badly as they did last season if they all stay fit, and I'm pegging Newcastle to finish 9th.
Well, on the plus side, you don't have that pesky Europa League annoying you this year.
Exactly.
But I just think there's too much circus around them, and I don't like it. I think it'll be 17th.
Well, on to Newcastle's last successful caretaker manager, Chris Hughton, who's currently at Norwich City, and he did a stormer in the transfer market this season. You had Ricky Van Wolfswinkel, Leroy Fair, Gary Hooper for $5 million, Martin Olsen from Blackburn for $2.5 million. I thought that was a bargain, and Nathan Redmond for 2.2, possibly rising to 3.2.
Yeah, they certainly did well. I can't wait to look at this guy, Wolfswinkel. I think he'll be a good buy for them. They've also got rid of Grant Holt, which I think was a good move because I'm not sure he was happy or really contributing much with them last season.
Getting $2 million from him as well.
Yeah, that was a good deal. I think Hughton is a good coach. I like him. I'm looking for more from Pilkington and Houlihan as well. I wonder will they get the same playing time with all these signs, but I hope so. I think it'll be a good season for Norwich, but possibly not much improvement on last season. But I think it'll possibly take time for these signings to bed in. But I don't think they'll be in danger of relegation or anything like that.
So where do you have Norwich finishing?
I have them finishing just below Fulham in 13th.
I'm not 15th, but I now want to change that. That sounds wrong now that I say it out loud. But I'll stick with it just for the sake of it.
I think they'll be okay. I hope their signings work out for them. Because if a lot of teams don't like going to Norwich and playing there, they're well capable of taking big scalps. So, they're a good side.
I'm calling it a comfortable 15th. Our next team is Southampton, who brought in Victor Wanyama, which is a very good signing, and Dejan Lovren.
Very surprising signing. I didn't expect Southampton to get Wanyama.
Yeah, I know. He did so well against Barcelona last year. It seemed to grab everybody's attention. They haven't really let anybody super good go either. So, I mean, they've only improved. It's just a case of have other teams around them improve too.
Yeah. I expect Ricky Lambert to hit the ground running after the goal he got last night. That was power header. I don't know if you saw it, but
that was an amazing header.
It was his first touch, bullet header for the winner against Scotland. If he can get another 15 goals, it'll be great. I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think they'll probably have quite a similar season. I don't know. Maybe they've kind of hit their ceiling. I don't know how far they can go, but I think they'll have quite a similar season to last year.
And where do you have Southampton place?
11th, I think, top of the bottom half.
I have them 13th.
13th?
Yes.
You think I've been too generous?
No, I think we're close. I mean, you do Norwich in 13th. Yeah, I suppose you have Newcastle way now. Yeah, okay.
The one issue for them might be the goalkeeping position, though. They want to get that sorted out.
Yeah, Borch seemed to name it down towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
Next team, of course, is Tottenham.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's Stoke. Sorry. So next team then is Stoke, and new manager. Not a huge leap forward in tactics, but actually it is a huge leap forward in tactics. But it would have been very hard not to take a huge leap forward in tactics from Tony Pulis.
I don't like Mark Hughes as a manager because I don't know. I question his advisors and his loyalties.
Kia Jarabshin is his agent, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not too sure about. I understand Stoke want to kind of, as it were, change everything and kind of change it up from being just a dour team that plays for the tight 1-0 wins. But I think it'll take Hughes time to do that because all their personnel are pretty much based on strength and tackling and keeping games tight. So it'll take him a while to get that going.
And they haven't really brought anybody in either.
Yeah, this is it. I don't know how they're supposed to be a passing team if they don't have the passing players.
Well, they have Charlie Adam. They have, and Nzonzi can play in tight areas, I suppose, to an extent.
I don't know about Charlie Adam.
You don't
Whelan can't pass. Whelan doesn't have the legs to be the player that really managers want him to be, i.e. the closing down midfielder who cuts off the passing lanes. I don't think. I think he's probably. He's kind of a midfield player to have in the midfield three.
So where are you putting Stoke in the grand scheme of things? So
I have Stoke at 15th. I think they'll be in relegation trouble the whole season, but they'll just survive.
I have Stoke at 16th.
So you were pretty much the same thinking as me.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go down, but I think it'll be a long, awkward season for Mark Hughes, and you wonder what kind of players he'll get to bring in the future. I hope he does get to turn it around because they do have good fans there, Stoke, but they just play dour football.
Yeah, since the fans turned on Holyfield, I'm all about Stoke fans. Next up, we have Sunderland.
Yes.
Who I was impressed with the players they were bringing in, but they've let out some very good players as well.
I think this is either going to go really, really well for Sunderland or really, really badly. Di Canio is a bit of a loose cannon, as everybody knows. I'm looking at Stephen Fletcher. Can he stay fit? Can he come back in and score goals?
Can he score goals in the new system as well? Like he did very well under Martin O'Neill, but
yeah, I'm wondering are the players kind of already turning on Di Canio because of all the fines he was handing out and the strict discipline. I'm wondering about Sunderland picking up red cards. I'm wondering are they going to be too gung ho. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, and the word that comes to mind when I think about Sunderland is unstable. You don't know what they're going to be week to week. They do have a chance at the start of the season. I mean, they got Fulham home, Southampton away, Crystal Palace away. I mean, there's a chance there to pick up some points earlier on and ease any pressure that's there. But I do have fears about Sunderland this season.
Well, apparently, Di Canio has them running up and down mountains, so they will be the fittest team at the start of the season. They'll also, you would expect them to be pretty burnt out, come Christmas time.
I do like that method of management. I do like that kind of old-fashioned because not necessarily. I know the game has come on with fitness coaches and conditioning coaches, and they all have it down to a science. But there's
and they would not advise you do that as well.
I know, but there's nothing like a bit of character building when you're in a dressing room and you're 1-0 down against Newcastle, and you can point back to all the hard work you've done, and it wasn't for nothing, and all that kind of stuff. I like that kind of those stories, and I like hearing stuff like that. But who knows? Will it pay off? We'll have to wait and see.
John O'Shea said it was the hardest pre-season he's had, and when you're going, well, he won the Champions League one year, and this is nothing like that. So I don't know. I think it's a bit backwards. Although I have to say, the signing of Emmanuel Giaccherini, I think a lot of their season will depend on that. He's a very good player, and it's a great signing for 6.5.
Out of Juve.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looked very good during the Confederations Cup. How quickly he takes to the league could decide it. Where are you putting Sunderland?
I have Sunderland at 18th.
Ooh, well done you, Mark.
I think it's going to be a tough, rough season for Sunderland. I think I can see managerial switches. I can see a lot of things for Sunderland. They don't have James McLean anymore. They don't have. I wonder what they have going forward, and I think 18th.
I have Sunderland at 19th. I think they're going to have a complete collapse after Christmas.
It's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility. If you look at their last 6 games as well, when the crunch is on, Tottenham away, Everton home, Chelsea away, Cardiff home, United away, Swansea home. Tough to pick up points in all of those fixtures.
True that. Next team on the list is a Swansea, who appear to have done everything that Newcastle should have done when they qualified for the Europa League. Just one big signing in Wilfred Boney, and then just 5 for Shelby, and then after that, just 2 million here, half a million there. Just brought in a load of very talented players for not very much money.
Boney, yes. Shelby, no. I think that will prove to be a pointless signing.
Yeah.
Boney, I'm very much looking forward to seeing him play. I'm also very much looking forward to Michu's second season. Will he have what it takes? This Europa League can either be a pest or a blessing. I hope Swansea are able to keep form up in both the Premier League and the Europa League, because I think they could be one of the surprise teams in the Europa League. I think they could, with Laudrup there, I think they could do quite well. And I think they're going to have a great season, Swansea. As long as they don't win the League Cup and then just give up in March, like they did last year, I think it could be a great year for them. It's exciting times in Wales.
When I was watching the Europa League, the second leg, this lad Pozuelo looked very good. And you've got him, Nathan Dyer, Routledge, and Pablo Hernandez all kind of playing for those roles behind the forward, and then you'll have Michu in there in the number 10 role as well, very often with Boney in there.
Yeah.
Could be a very good season. I rate them very highly, and I have given them 6th place.
I have given them 7th. I think we're thinking along the same lines. I think West Brom obviously were kind of that surprise team up there around 6th and 7th, and I think Swansea will be that team this season. I think they're capable, and if they give the full season, they're definitely capable of that. An interesting fact about Wilfred Boney, was number 12 on the European Golden Boot last season.
12?
Which is, yeah.
Ooh. I'm not sure. He does kind of stand out within the team. Like in the Europa League, he didn't look especially. What's the word? He didn't fit the system as much. He's a big Lukaku style guy, and not the most.
Well, sometimes these things can take time, but I'm sure it'll work out.
True that. So next on the list is Spurs, who, their season seems to be, their pre-season anyway, has been revolving around Gareth Bale and whether or not they'll be able to keep him.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think Bale going makes that much odds with Tottenham. They've bought well. This Paulinho fella's supposed to be a good boy, and I can't think of his name. But they've got a guy out of Belgium who starts in the Belgian national side, and he's supposed to be quite talented. Obviously, Soldado could well prove to be a good striker there, which they really were crying out for a really top forward. I think Tottenham will kind of be par for the course with last season, and if Bale stays, it'll be great for them. If he goes, I don't think it makes that much odds, and it'll help them to build their new stadium, which will be a good thing in the long term. Also, I thought it was interesting that Mourinho in his press conference with Chelsea, his first press conference, he really looks at Tottenham. I presume if more so if they keep Bale, but he really looks at Tottenham as a potential title rival.
And how if you were Spurs though, and they seem to be, they're trying to get as much money as they can for Bale, would you be straight away just going 100 million? I'll take that, or do you think they can negotiate it much higher?
Well, first of all, Gareth Bale is not worth 100 million. He's not worth 80 million, which Cristiano Ronaldo was sold for. And when Ronaldo was sold, he was a far superior player than Gareth Bale is now. So if they can get 100 million, take it. I'd be more interested if I was Tottenham. If you could get something like 80, 85, and also maybe the young fella Morata, even on a season or two loan from Real Madrid, it kind of shows that we've brought a good player into the squad. So we've lost one, but we also got potential into the squad. That would be a good move for them, but I don't know if that's going to happen. They're all playing games. They're all waiting until the transfer window comes to, the hours start ticking down. But apparently, the Real Madrid president is quite confident that it's going to go through. So, maybe he won't play for them again. I think it would be sad for Spurs, but it could be a good thing in the long term.
I was thinking along the same lines of take 85. get Modric back for half of what they sold him for, and have split the difference on the wages that he's had to go up on, and then maybe get Morata on the loan as well. Morata seems like a very good player, and I'm not sure you'd get into the Madrid team with Bale there.
Yeah.
So you are expecting him to go though. I can't see him. If the player doesn't want to be there, I can't see how you can force him to stay.
Yeah, it looks that way. I hope he stays for the league's sake and for Spurs' sake. I think it's a bad move for him because he's not going to be the main man when he goes in there. It's Ronaldo's team. The ball still gets given to Ronaldo in all the important situations. I'm not sure it's a great move for him. But yeah, I think it'll end up that way, that he'll go to Real Madrid.
So you're expecting that, and as a result, where are you expecting them to finish?
I think, as I said at the start, I think they'll still be par for the course last season. They won't have enough with Bale or without Bale to finish out of Arsenal. I have them fifth.
Yeah, I can't see them getting ahead of Arsenal. But I can't see anybody else getting close to them, so I have them at fifth. Also, we haven't done.
What do you know about this Paulinho guy?
From what I watched during the Confederation Cup, he seems a decent player, probably worth the 17 that they paid. I think they only got him that cheap because of a release clause as well. So yeah, good signing. Him alongside Dembele could be a very good partnership.
Yes, and Clint Dempsey going to Seattle.
Yeah, they got 6 million from him, which they paid what? They paid about 10 from last year, and it didn't quite work out.
But, I thought he contributed though.
Yeah, but he doesn't really fit into the team so much. I think they want a wide forward as opposed to a central midfielder.
Yeah.
Also, David Bentley and William Gallas released.
Has Gallas been picked up?
No.
Has Bentley been picked up?
No, unless it's in the last 2 days, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Something must have happened quick. Next team, West Brom. They have no Lukaku this year, but they have got Nicolas Anelka and Vidra, is that his name, from Udinese? And they also got Diego Lugano on a free from Paris Saint-Germain. So they have strengthened.
And Zoltan Gira coming back.
I thought they released him. They seem to do this. They release him and then sign him back.
Yeah, they released him and signed him back, I think, yesterday. Yeah, I think Anelka will be a very interesting one. His kind of last shot in the Premier League. I think he'll have a good season. A lot of pressure on... excuse me. A lot of pressure on Steve Clark. He had such a good year last year. I'm sure other clubs are kind of looking around and thinking, is he a potential boss in the future? He had such a good season, it'd be difficult to keep that up, but they do have the potential in the squad. I hope Shane Long can score more goals and get a consistent run on the team. But they do definitely have a lot of potential in their squad.
And as you said, a top class coach. The Odin Wingy thing, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out because they can't seem to get rid of him.
Well, who would want him after his stunt last year? I wonder how much he has left in his contract. I'm sure West Brom are trying to run that down.
Yeah, it must be on a year, but they're selling them for like $1 million, $1.5 million.
Yeah.
So where are you placing West Brom?
I think it'll be kind of similar to last year. I think I'll have them at 8th.
I have West Brom at 11th. I don't think, without Lukaku, I don't think they can do the same. I think Anelka will do well without blowing the league away.
Yeah.
And our final team is West Ham, who they signed Andy Carroll on a permanent. They've got Stuart Downing coming in, Adrian from Betis, and Rat from Shakhtar Donetsk. They've strengthened very well.
And they starting to strengthen quite early. That guy Rat came in pretty much as a couple of days as last season closed. We knew Carroll was going to be signed. Downing could be a great buy for them. I think he's more at a club at his level.
The tactics will suit him a lot better than they did at Liverpool.
And I can imagine him crossing balls for Andy Carroll to score more goals. So I think it's been a very, very positive summer for West Ham. And if I was a West Ham fan, I'd be quite optimistic.
They also released Carlton Cole, who's floating around for free now, so anybody can snap him up. Do you think the fans will put up with another season of Allardyce's? No, but they actually played all right last year. They weren't as bad as previous Allardyce teams.
Yeah, I think also the fact that they're not really in relegation trouble. It also like, fans don't really have much to complain about. Would you rather be in the championship? I don't think you would. I don't think they're that bad a team to watch. And no, I don't see any reason why they should complain.
So where do you have West Ham finishing?
10th.
10th. I have them at a comfortable 12th.
I think 10th. Yeah, around those numbers is. They're not relegation fodder, and they're not really challenging for Europe. So that's about where they are.
Yes. So right, there we have it. That was our preview. There'll be a Fantasy League code up on our Facebook page in the next few days. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. I've been John O'Donnell and Mark Corcoran has been Mark Corcoran.
Hello.
Say
goodbye.
And we will talk to you again shortly.